All right, Lambos What is Sports, featuring the Big Brother, featuring the Sideline Sports Network. All right, SEC matchup of the week: Tennessee versus Alabama. Now, this rivalry last year, Tennessee beat Alabama for the first time since 2006 last year. Now, this is different circumstances. Both teams have different quarterbacks, obviously. You have, Joe Milton, and then now you have Jalen Monroe. So you have two dual threat quarterbacks. Tennessee is not really good defensively. Alabama is great defensively, but the offensive line has caused issues, especially against Texas, as you see. Now, I'm smart enough not to bet against Alabama. Now, this is a lot. This is the other way. Now, Alabama lost at Tennessee last year. Now, this game is in Alabama, so it flips and reverses. Now, if Jalen Monroe can be consistent and not turn the ball over and go through his progressions and find open receivers instead of one receiver without, running before the play actually develops, I think I'm highly confident in Alabama. Now, I'm still going to pick Alabama to win the game no matter what because I'm not going to bet against Nick Saban. But this game is really going to come down to the quarterback. It's going to come down to Jalen Monroe making smart decisions. I'm very confident in Alabama defense, but this game easily comes down to Jalen Monroe. And like you said, you're not a big fan of Joe Milton, so he hasn't really been all that either. They've been able to run the ball effectively. I don't think they're going to run the ball for about 200 plus yards on the Alabama defense. That's pretty good. They may get 100, maybe 115, but I think at some point in time you can't rely just on the running game. You're going to have to throw the ball. So I'm taking Alabama to win this game. I'll give you a 10-point game. I give you 34-24.
Yeah, I've got Bama as well, but I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. You know, with Tennessee, the vibe is normally, we don't need the defense to be super great because the offense is going to be high powered and it's going to score a bunch of points. And the first part of that is still true, and their defense isn't that great, but their offense isn't super amazing either. When they've played actual opponents, and even when they've played much lesser opponents, it's taken until the third quarter to actually get going. We saw it against UVA week 1. We saw it against Austin Pay, or however you say that, in week 2. They obviously lost to Florida. They never got it going there. And yeah, they put up 45 on UTSA. Like, congrats. But I don't see much weight behind that one. And they did have a good performance against South Carolina as well, but we've talked about it there. South Carolina's kind of crumbling, and then last week they put up 20 against Texas A&M. So I mean, take it as like how you will, but against actual opponents, which they've played, I'll say 3, they have 20 points, 16 points, excuse me, and then 41. So that's an average of like high 20s, and it's not really, what you can do when your defense is not that great. Now they played fine against A&M, but we've seen A&M literally waste talent for the past 3 years. So I don't know why going into a Bama game I would lean towards Tennessee like at all. The only thing would be the inconsistency with Milroe at the QB for Bama, and the running game has been a little inconsistent as well. But like I mentioned, they're not going against like a top tier defense. I feel like, and it's another reason I think this game is going to be low scoring. It's because I don't think either offense is very good. And the difference for me is the Bama defense is still performing well, whereas the Tennessee defense isn't and hasn't been for the past few years. Bama allows 16 points a game. And, Tennessee allows 17, but like I said, I just went through their schedule. They've played like 4 cupcakes. So I don't know. I don't think this game is all the hype that I think it's going to get on TV. I think Bama is gonna take care of business.
So it's not gonna be any hype. Not even last year. It was hype last year because I guess it was
I
Bryce
just
Young.
think the offenses are. I think Tennessee, as they've done all year, and like credit to them, that's why they've still been able to win games with a average quarterback. They've run the shit out of the ball every single week, and it's worked out for them. I mean, I think they average over 200 rushing yards as a team every week. So they're going to try and do that against Bama. And like you mentioned, they might, break a few off, but Bama only allows 105 yards of rushing per week. And you got to assume that after last year's game, that this is something that was circled on that Bama calendar coming up to this week. They're ready. There's no doubt that Saban has them like prepared to go. And then also like what we've been talking about since I've been on the show, who are you going to trust? Who are you going to put your money behind? The Tennessee head coach or Nick Saban?
Nick Saban.
I'll take Saban. Yeah, I'll take Saban.
All right, so that would be it for Lamb's Winter Sports as far as this game. Now, the next game we get into is another SEC matchup in South Carolina versus Missouri. South Carolina is messed up in all different ways. Offensively, defensively, Shane Bieber expresses frustration. He's so frustrated he broke his own foot after the UCF loss or after the loss, whatever they had last week, not UCF. I think it was Florida or whatnot. He just kicked it and broke his own foot. So, that's how mad he really is. But Missouri is not a team that everybody's talking about. Kirby Smart did say a couple weeks ago that every SEC team should be ranked in his opinion. And Missouri is actually pretty good and pretty legit. They lost to LSU, but they beat Kansas State. I know that's a different conference. It's a Big 12, but there's something we're sleeping on. But we'll talk about that next. Levels for the sports. Sideline Sports Network, Lambos Water Sports, Total Pro Nation. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will catch you later for South Carolina versus Missouri.